I'm about to take you into a session here that I do with certain clients, but it's so powerful because you have to look at yourself almost as a business, as a brand, as an entity. You carry an entire kingdom in you. It may be the kingdom of production. It may be the kingdom of music. It may be the kingdom of creating. It may be the kingdom of writing, but there are kingdoms in you. And so you have to look at yourself as an entity, as a business, as a brand. See, Queen Elizabeth or the king or even presidents, they're not just themselves. They represent greater than just themselves. You represent more than just yourself. You represent more than just your family. You represent the kingdom of God. So the first thing we have to talk about is, why are you here? And I want you to write that down as you're listening to this. Why are you here? Some of you kind of talked about what your why is in our last session. I want you to write down, why are you here? Take a moment to write that down. Why do you feel you are here? When I say here, I'm saying on this earth. I'm saying, why do you exist? I'm saying, why were you born? The fact that you're living, the fact that you're breathing, the fact that you're still alive means there's something that you're supposed to do on this earth. So why are you here? Okay, I'm gonna go through this quickly. You can pause it if you need to and go back, but I want to get through this. Why are you here? Then you must answer, what is your passion? Fellas, ladies, whoever's watching this, you cannot just live your life based off of getting money. You can't just live your life based off of being famous. You can't just live your life based off of even being wealthy. You got to base your life off of your passion. What are you passionate about? I see so many of your goals are tied to getting money, and that's nothing wrong with that. There's small goals, there's steps. I always say there's no elevator to success. You got to take the stairs. And so those are great goals initially, but the greatest goal, the greatest purpose in life is not money. It's passion. It's passion. Let me ask you the question. What would you do? What would be on your mind? What would be your lifestyle if all your needs were met, if all your bills were paid, if everything you wanted to do you had done? What would your life be like? If you had the money to pay for a staff to do whatever you needed them to do, if it was in production, if it was in creativity, if it was in education, if it was in music, you had a staff that was able to produce whatever you needed them to do. You didn't have to do the work. What would your life be about? What's your passion? See, passion goes beyond profession. It even goes beyond profit. My pastor. So, and what do you want to accomplish with your life? When you are gone from this earth, what do you want people to say about you? What do you want to be written in your obituary? And I know that's hard to think about, but no, seriously, what do you want people to remember you by? Don't wait until you're a 95 in the box. You can start writing your legacy now. Let me ask you this question. What legacy have you already created? If I were to ask people that know you intimately and closely about you, what would they tell me about you? What would they tell me about what imprint you've already made? What would they tell me about the mark you've already put in their life? And I'm not talking about people that you fake with. I'm talking about the people that really know you. What do you want to accomplish with your life? I'm not talking about your business. I'm not talking about your money. I'm talking about, what do you want your life to stand for? See, these are questions, all these questions, I want you to be writing them down, and you might have to pause and go back. But I want you to answer these questions. This is part of your homework. Answer these questions. What do you want to accomplish with your life? Now we can answer the question, what do you want to accomplish with your business? Like I said, your life is a business. Your life is an entity. So if you want to go into, some of you want to go into music production, video production, you may want to go to real estate, you may want to go into education, you may want to go into engineering, whatever it is you want to go into, clothing, design, whatever, doctor, lawyer, what do you want to accomplish with your business? The first thing you got to answer is about your passion and what you want to accomplish with your life. Then we can talk about what you want to accomplish with your business. Because if you don't have a life mission and a life passion and a life purpose, then your business is not going to go very far. Okay, we're getting to the work. We've gone into inspiration. Now we finna get into application. Again, I want you writing down answers to each one of these questions. This is a statement that my pastor stated, and I've kind of taken it from her. It's in my book. Passion is purpose revealed. When you identify your passion, when you identify what you absolutely love, when you identify the thing that wakes you up in the morning, the thing you would do if you weren't getting paid, the thing that you just cannot live without, when you identify that, it reveals, it almost opens the wrapper onto what your purpose can be. Now, every passion is not connected to purpose. I'm not saying that. But when you truly identify your passion, it's a revelation into what your purpose is, because the purpose of your life is the reason for your life. It's not the money. It's not the wealth. It's not the cars. It's not the houses. It's not even the marriage. It's not even the kids. It's purpose. Purpose could be wrapped up in all of that. But what is your purpose? The way you find that, I believe, is passion is purpose revealed. For me to get to my purpose, I've got to list and understand my passions. I'm going to keep going. You may have to pause it and go back, but I want you to keep going. This is something you want to write down. Write down passion is purpose revealed. Now, what I'm going to challenge you to do is that you all had goals, and I want you to put your goals into a vision board. I want you to present that to me as a vision board. Some of you had goals and certain things you wanted to do weekly, certain things you want to do monthly. Some of you had goals of what you wanted to complete before the end of the year. Put that into a vision board, and I want you to present that to me in images. Why? Because it's important that you see what you are saying. I don't have it on here, but there's a scripture that says, write the vision, make it plain so that they that read it can run with it. What you're doing when you do that is you're taking the invisible and you're making it visible. When you write the vision, you're literally taking what's in your brain and you're making it visible. You're taking the invisible realm and making it visible. Because here's the thing. Your kingdom is not of this world. He says, I'm in the world, but I'm not of the world. Jesus walked the earth, but he don't live on the earth. He's sitting at the right side of the Father. So your kingdom is not of this realm. You have the ability to call things from the invisible realm and bring them into the visible realm. And one of the ways to do that is by writing the vision. So we started that with your goals. Now I want you to see the vision. I want you to see the images of what you said you want to do. I don't care if you have to take a picture of somebody said something about TikTok. If you have to take a picture of a equipment, if you got to take a picture of a piano, whatever it is, a stethoscope, however you say that, a doctor tool, engineering set, whatever you have to take a picture of. I want you to see what it is that you're saying. I want you to create a vision board. Here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about your view, because there's 3 levels to the view that you have, your view. There's 3 levels to your view. Your vision represents your aerial view. What vision do you have for your organization, business, or hobby? Again, you are a business. You are an institution. You are a kingdom. There is a kingdom in you. Okay. So your vision, that's the aerial view. That's the big picture. I want to be a philanthropist. I want to be a multimillionaire. I am a multimillionaire. I'm going to impact thousands or millions of people. That's the aerial view. Okay. But there's 3 levels to this thing. Like I say, there's no elevator to success. You got to take the stairs. Vision is the aerial view. Mission is the linear view. What mission do you have for your vision, for your business, for your hobby? So aerial view is able to see from up top. It's able to see from a higher playing field. But it's important to have a linear view too, as to what are the steps it's going to take to get there. I can't fly over this thing. I've got to walk in it. I can't fly into my dreams. I've got to walk in it. And so sometimes in the linear view, in the walking view, there are obstacles in your way that you may not understand how to get out of. But that's why the aerial view is important, because I can see past the obstacle. I can see past the wall. I can see past the barrier. So I need the aerial view, but I also need the linear view, because I got to know, what steps do I take to get to my vision? What steps do I take to get to my goals? I've got to see that. So that mission is important. Many times we exist in vision and we don't understand mission. A dream without a vision is a fantasy. Let me say that again. A dream without a vision and a mission is a fantasy. It's out of reality. It's not in the invisible realm. That's the kingdom. It's in your fantasy land because you're not willing to put the work in it. See, every vision takes work. Every vision takes steps. What steps are you taking toward your vision? So the mission represents the linear view, and then your goals represents the standing view. What goals do you have in place right now to help you get there? That's why we started with the goals. We've got to start with the goals. Then we can get to the steps, the mission, and then we can get to the vision, the aerial. So the goals is the first step, right? And that's why I wanted you to create your goals. That's why I want you to create your vision board, because now you're combining them. You're taking the invisible and making it visible. So you have to have the aerial view. You've got to have the linear view, and you got to have the standing view. Okay, this is something you need to write down. Take a picture of it, take a screenshot of it, make sure you have this in your arsenal, and make sure you are applying this. This is what we're doing over the next few sessions. Okay, this is your view. Now, in order to have a vision, you got to see it. And I'm going to give you an acronym for the word see. It's important that you see. This is why I'm telling you, I want you to create your vision board, because you have to see your vision. You can't just keep it up here. You got to actually see it. That's part of taking the invisible and making it visible. That's part of taking the spiritual kingdom and bringing it into the natural kingdom of the earth. You are the image of God in the earth. You are the image of God on the earth. You were made of earth. So you're in the world, but you're not of the world. Your body, this skin, it's in the world. You were created in the world, but your soul, your spirit is not of this world. It's of God. So you got to see your vision. And I want you to take this seriously of making sure that you are seeing your vision. So there's an acronym for C. The first thing is you got to search. See, this is the work, fellas. This is the work, ladies. This is the work that you have to do. You cannot just stay looking at it. You can't just stay dreaming for it. You can't even stay putting it in writing. You've got to actually search out whatever it is that you're looking to do. Do you know all aspects of what you're trying to accomplish? Are there people around you that you can search out and seek out and get greater information about what you want to do? This is the time where you evaluate who your mentors are in your industry. This is the time you start to look at the successes in your industry and the things that didn't go so well in your industry. This is the time that you start to search and look up information that has to do. Seek someone that's where you want to be, and go seek them out. And listen, if you find a mentor in your life, if you find someone who's willing to pour into you, I've said this to some of you before, you have to chase them. You've got to go after them. I remember that when Kobe Bryant passed and they were doing his memorial service, and Michael Jordan basically said that Kobe was a pain because he would kid him up 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, and he was just relentless at how he chased Michael. People didn't even know. He called him a little brother. He cried at his memorial because how close they were, but people didn't hardly even know. But Kobe Bryant chased Michael Jordan. And to this day, I still think he's the closest that we've ever seen to Michael. You've got to go chase your mentor. You can't expect them to come after you. They are where you want to be. So if you're just sitting back waiting for them to respond to you, you are missing the boat. You got to go chase them. This is part of that search. Search for information, search for the success and the pitfalls, and search for a mentor in your industry that you can follow, that you can seek after, that you can go and chase. So the first thing is search. Then you got to evaluate. Hopefully through this searching, you know who your mentor is, you know the successes in the industry, you know what could go wrong. Now you got to evaluate, where are you? Where are you as it relates to those things? Are you in a position to really do it well? Do you need some more training? Do you need to link up with your mentor more? You got to evaluate yourself. Yes, you're a king. Yes, you have dominion. Yes, you have authority. Yes, you have power. But the Bible also says the people suffer because of a lack of knowledge. So you got to have some knowledge. You have to have some understanding. And so you got to evaluate where you are. I was talking to one of you. Don't get out there too quickly. If you're not ready, there is a process to this thing. That's the first chapter in my book, A Journey to Purpose, a guide to help you identify, activate, and walk in purpose. It's available on Amazon. But there is a process. That's the first chapter, is process. You got to be willing to go through the process. And in the process, you got to be honest with yourself. What did I say? There's a side of God I will never see until I acknowledge and recognize the weakness in me. When I recognize my weakness, when I evaluate my life and see areas that I'm weak, it allows me to give those things to God and allows God to put people in my life that will hold me accountable where I'm weak. That's how I become strong in it. But if you're in la la land and you act like you don't have no issues, and you act like you don't have, some of you have a priority issue. Some of you have a time management issue. Things that you're supposed to be committed to and you don't show up. That's a time management issue. You got to get that online. How can God trust you with a multi-million-dollar business and he can't even trust you to serve in the capacity that you say you're going to serve? How can God trust you to manage multiple people and he can't even trust you to manage yourself, to manage your time? Where is your schedule at? What are you doing on tomorrow? Do you even know? Or are you going with the wind? My father said all the time, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. If you're not rooted in something, you're going to just go with the wind. You got to evaluate yourself and recognize the areas that you are not good in, that you are weak in. And those are not places that you have to necessarily become strong in, but you have to be willing to be accountable to those places so that God can be strong in you. So then you got to evaluate. And finally, you got to execute. You've got to execute. You've got to execute. Don't just put all these goals on the sheet and you don't do nothing about it. Don't just write the vision and you don't actually put any emotion into it. You've got to execute. Again, a dream without a vision and mission is just a fantasy. That's something you need to write down. A dream without a vision and mission is just a fantasy. It's not real. It's just like it's a mirage because you're not executing. There should not be the same goal in your thing every year, unless it's like a 10-year goal. But if you have a goal from now to the end of the year, we shouldn't be walking in January with that same goal. You've got to execute. You got to make it happen. You got to do it. There can be nothing that stops you from making it happen. So this is part of seeing your vision. You got to search the information, the industry, and the mentors. You got to evaluate your life, recognize the areas you're weak in so you can get some strength in there. And you got to execute. You got to make it happen. Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses. Stop telling me what you can't do. Stop telling me what you don't know. Stop saying that. Make it happen. And I think one of the greatest elements in all of this is mentorship. This is what we're doing here. It's mentorship. You got to be willing to listen to someone and follow. Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ. You got to be willing to follow. And it's one thing to come to these sessions and listen to it and hear it. But when you're not doing the exercises, when you're not responding to different posts that are put out, when you're not actually fulfilling other areas in your life where you're accountable to, then you're not taking this thing seriously. You're not taking it seriously. You got to see your vision, and the last letter in C is execute. You got to make it happen. Ain't no excuses up in this piece. You got to make it happen. How many times have you made the excuse and didn't do it? How many times have you said you're going to do something and didn't follow through? Execution is where we're going. Okay, let's keep going. So this is what I'm going to also challenge you to do. There's a lot in this, but I told you this was a big, big lesson, and I'm not going to go back over it. You're going to need to watch this and go through and do everything that I've asked. You need to develop a personal mission vision statement. I'm giving you the one for my organization. Youth Empowerment Projects created to expose, equip, and empower youth and young adults toward success. So there's 3 elements to the vision of Youth Empowerment Project: expose, equip, and empower. This will represent the aerial view of my organization. That's my personal vision statement for Youth Empowerment Project. I want you to create a vision statement for your life. This is the aerial view. What do you want to accomplish in your life? What do you want to see your life stand for? This is the view. This is the vision statement. As you can see, it's one sentence. I've broken some things down, and it's simple. It's not complex. It's simple. Okay. I want you to create a vision statement for your life. Then I want you to create a mission statement. Again, I'm giving you the one for Youth Empowerment Project. Youth Empowerment Project's mission is to provide career exploration, professional development, entrepreneurship training, and paid internships to aid students to reach their fullest potential. So I've broken down career exploration, professional development, entrepreneurship training, and paid internships. This is the linear view. This is the steps we take to reach the vision that we want to make. The vision is the aerial view. The mission is the steps. You need a vision for your life, and then you need a mission for your life. How do you plan to get there? How do you plan to do it? This is the linear view of my organization. Now I'm going to take a pause for a second. I can tell you now that personally, my personal mission statement is to help youth and young adults identify, activate, and walk in purpose. That's my personal mission statement, is to help youth and young adults identify, activate, and walk in purpose. That's my personal mission statement. And there's several ways I do that. I do that through Youth Empowerment Project. I do that through my book, Journey to Purpose. And I do that through the efforts that I do in mentoring. I was just doing a mentorship session this weekend. So there's steps to how I create that mission. The greatest of them is the book, because it's going to stay here after I'm gone. Journey to Purpose. And so that's my personal mission statement. I'm asking you to create a personal vision statement and a personal mission statement. We're almost done. We're almost done. We're almost done. So again, you're creating a personal vision statement and you're creating a personal mission statement. Okay. That is the challenge that I have for you, is to create a personal mission statement and a personal vision statement. It's super important. It's super important because this is how you're going to do what you're supposed to do in life. This is how it starts, gentlemen. It's work. I'm telling you. Now, listen, you may say, you know what? I didn't know it was going to be all of this. I don't know if I can accomplish all of this. If that's where you are, it's okay. Let me know and we can move forward. But this is part of what it takes to be successful. You say you want to be an entrepreneur. You say you don't want to work a 9 to 5. Well, this is what it takes. Okay. Now, you can't do everything at first, but you must do something. I'm going to repeat that. I say we're almost done. You can't do everything, but you must do something. You may not hit 10,000 views, but you got to hit a view, right? So I'm not concerned about the number. I'm concerned about your action. You're needing to develop habits that's going to help you for your life. And so I don't want you to think about like by next month, you got to accomplish all of your goals and everything that you see. That's not feasible. That's not realistic. Remember, we're talking about SMART goals, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and then time bound. That's not relevant. It's not realistic to try to get the $1 million house tomorrow. That's not relevant, but you can do something. What are you doing? Now, here's the thing. They say there are no dumb questions, and there are dumb goals. I'm just going to be real with you. Yes, there is such a thing as dumb goal. Maybe I need to make an acronym for dumb goals and put that out there. I probably make some money because there are dumb goals. Why do I say that? Because if you're not realistic, if you're not relevant, then that's not real. That's in that fantasy, as I said. Your goals have to be conditioned of where you are. It doesn't mean you're going to stay there, but your goals got to be conditioned of where you are. If you're not in a position to get a multi-million-dollar house, I can't get that tomorrow. And here, let me say this. Anything that comes quickly typically is not sustainable. Anything that comes very quickly typically is not sustainable. So I don't want to get rich quick. I want to build wealth in a way that's sustainable. I'm not going to even say slow, but it's got to be sustainable. Okay. So we're going to get started. This is what we want to do. We want to get started. I've just taken you through a training, y'all, that I actually take some of my clients through that's doing business consultation. And this business consultation I'm taking you through, it typically, I'm not even going to talk about a cost, but it's up there. It's in 4 figures at least. So you just got a little bit of a crash course training in what I give to clients.